everyone, and welcome to the Sunflower Girl podcast. This is episode 19. If you are a new viewer, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's so lovely to have you. My name's Rachel. You can find me on Instagram as the Sunflower GRL, just girl without the I, and our Ravelry as the Sunflower Girl. The podcast group can be found on Ravelry if you just search for the Sunflower Girl podcast in the groups tab. Come and join. I'd really love it if you came and chatted in there. There is an instructions thread and a questions thread. So yes, it seems like it's been forever since the last time I recorded. I just felt a little out of sorts, and just every time I said I would podcast, I just didn't feel quite right. So apologies for that, and also apologies if this podcast is a little bit sort of all over the place. So yeah, today I am drinking, it's literally just been brewed, so it's quite hot, in my lovely little kitty cat mug, and this is peppermint tea. It's still far too hot. So yes, I've got quite a few works in progress to show, so we'll just jump straight in. So the one that's probably got the least amount of progress are Dave's socks. I've literally only done about 5 rows on them since last time, which is kind of terrible. So this week is going to be dedicated a bit more to these. And yes, they are pooling quite badly, but he doesn't mind, so I'm not going to worry about it. So yes, this is King Cole Zigzag, and it is the Majestic colourway, which we're just naming his Guardian socks, and it looks like this. And these I just do on 2.75, and it's a 72 stitch count, and that works fine. So yes, not a great deal done on these, but hopefully they will get some more work this week. And yeah, these are living in this fabulous Star Wars bag. Okay, so the second work in progress. I just realised that most of them you will actually have seen before, so we'll start with this. Living in here. Now, it doesn't really look like much because I only cast it on and knit a little bit of it the other day. But I had obviously knit, if you've watched before, I knit the Sailor by Sashka Birkin in this colour. And I've got this whole skein and another about half left. And I wanted to do something with it, so I'm knitting another top. It's called the Lacy Boxy or something quite similar, and essentially it's 2 triangles, and then you just sew them together up the sides and across the shoulders, and because it's oversized it sort of drapes down, but it's got these different lace sections so you knit the pattern. And I've just done the garter and the first lace section on the first, either front or back. They're exactly the same. And this is knit on 5mm needles, 5mm. And I just thought it'd be very summery to put on over a vest top, or if you went to the beach, over a swimming costume or bikini or that kind of thing. So yeah, this hasn't got as much love as I'd hoped, because I have to pay attention to the pattern, because it is a free pattern on Ravelry. It has a diagram that shows you a picture of the top and each lace section, and it basically labels it, so A, B, C, D, and then in the pattern. So, and then underneath it you've got, so lace panel A, lace panel B, and because it switches around I have to sort of keep looking at the pattern to see where I'm at, and each lace section is different, at least for the first few times. But yeah, it's going to be really lovely, and I want to get some sort of lighter, like maybe a pale pink yarn in this same, and maybe make another one. So that's that, and I started that a few days ago, and that's living in the Guardians version of the same bag, which is fabulous. So I'm hoping to get some of that done before summer, so I can sort of really enjoy it. The next work in progress, is in this fabulous little box bag type thing. Now this is going to be quite awkward to show because it's on very tiny needles. I spoke last episode about how I wanted to make this sort of cropped jumper type thing in this grey yarn, but unfortunately I just didn't have enough of the grey, and I just didn't want to go and buy more. So I found this, which is like a red, I just put my I finished some socks and I just put my DPMs in there. Just move those out of the way. Found this, which is like a burgundy red, and there's 2 balls of that in there, but I frogged a project, so I just kind of wound them all together. And I decided to use a different pattern because I still didn't quite have enough for the pattern I wanted. So I've gone for a one with cropped sleeves, and it's called the Smoky Earl Grey pattern on Ravelry. And what I'm planning on doing is striping it, because it's knit from the bottom up, so striping it to about here where I split off with the sleeves, and then doing it in red, and then the same in the sleeves, just doing a little bit of striping. And this is all I've sort of got done, and the only needles in the size that I needed are these very small ones, so I need to pick up some more, but I just haven't got around to it. I really wanted to cast it on, so I've done the ribbing on the bottom and I've just started the striping. So yeah, it's coming along nicely, but with all the warm weather it hasn't got as much love as it probably should, but I'm not in any rush to sort of have it finished. It's quite nice. And also, just quickly, probably should go in acquisitions and things like that, but I picked up one of these little clickers, because I've got the ones that you put on, they're designed really for straight needles, you put on and then you turn it, but again, if you're working in the round, there's nowhere to put it. So yeah, I just picked up one of these. It was about £2 I think, from, it's called Tiger. I'm not sure if you get the, I'm pretty sure that it's just like a UK thing, but it just sells like bits and bobs really. So yeah, I got one of those and I got it in blue. That's just been living in there. So yeah, that's been nice going, and it's in this, which is just fabulous because I just pop everything in here and then I can just pick up and knit and not sort of worry about anything, and it just sits nicely and it can sit sort of next to me on the sofa. So yeah, that's really lovely. The next work in progress is in here, and this is quite exciting because I decided to teach myself how to knit toe-up socks, because if you have been watching before, I was talking about the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice socks that I really wanted to make, and I bought the pattern and didn't even look and see that they are toe up. So I knew I was going to have to teach myself how to knit toe up socks before I knit toe up lacy socks. So yeah, I did Judy's Magic Cast On, which I had tried before, but I think the tutorial I used just wasn't very good, because if you've obviously done Judy's Magic Cast On before, you use the tail of the yarn and the working yarn, and the way that you wrap the two creates this seamless join sort of start. Well, when I watched the first video when I tried it before, it wasn't clear that that's what you were doing. So I was just wrapping the working yarn over the two needles in the way that it was said in the tutorial, instead of the two strands. So I researched a bit more and found out. So yeah, I actually love toe-up socks. So I knit the toe and I did all my increases and I got to sort of this point, and then we went to the cinema and I knit up to here, and then we went to the cinema again and I knit up to here, and I know that's not loads and loads, apologies if you could just hear that, just a bit noisy out the back sometimes. But yeah, it's not loads and loads, but I'm not particularly a very quick knitter anyway, and knitting socks is not something I'm very quick at either, because I only started at the end of last year. But I'm really pleased with them so far, and because I'm doing the fish lips kiss heel, I did my little cardboard cutout, which isn't very good. Just shows my feet are very wide. I have very small feet, but they're very wide, which is my biggest issue when buying shoes, because they automatically assume if you've got small feet that they're very small and narrow. Not me. So yeah, I've got that, so I've been sort of testing it out and I've done quite well. So yeah, toe-up socks are definitely something I'm going to be working on quite a bit, I think. And it just helps with sort of my biggest issue when I knit socks is I'm always so worried I'm going to run out of yarn. So I overcompensate by making my socks ridiculously short, and then end up with tons of leftovers. So I'm going to try and do two at a time, but not on the same needle just yet anyway. I'm going to try and do more two at a time, sort of on separate needles, with the same yarn, so then I will be able to knit as long a cuff as I want, well, sort of leg as I want, without worrying that I'm going to run out of yarn, because I'll already have done the foot and the heel, and then the legs just up, sort of. So that's the sort of plan for some time in the future, when I've sort of finished that pair at least. Yeah, so I learned a wonderful new technique, which is really fun. So yeah, and then the last knitted work in progress is my Cozy Memories blanket, and I've added, I'm pretty sure it's these 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, which are just fabulous. I love this one. It reminds me of sort of like a carnival type. It's just brilliant and slow going, not too much love on this, but I've just been adding a square or 2 when I can, but you know, my square's quite small anyway, but I'm not in any kind of rush to get it finished, because I just want to enjoy it. And you know, me and Dave are looking to move and sort of get our own proper house together, because we are living in student accommodation at the moment. So I just think this would be so lovely to work on in our new home, and then when it's finished, we've sort of got something that is just so special to us, because he always picks the next square, well, most of the time anyway. He will pick the next colour to go in, so that's always fun. So yeah, and most of my ends are weaved in, just got the one from what I added in last night. But yeah, it's about a large pillowcase size at the moment, but you know, I do want to make another one, and the next time I will make bigger squares, but a few people have suggested about making this into a pillowcase, and that is a really lovely idea, but at the moment I'm still enjoying it so much and not sort of desperate to get it finished, that I think it's fine. And that is living in the Batman bag that my cousin made out of one of his t-shirts for me. And then the last work in progress is, of course, crochet, and it is my granny stripe blanket. I can't speak today, and I've done a couple of, I think the last time I was around sort of this greeny colour, maybe into, I'm not sure if I was into the gold, and I've done so quite a bit, and again, loving it, but not as much love as I would like, because with the blanket, when they're sort of just on my lap, I just get quite warm with this weather. But just think it's fabulous, and I've been adding all my tiny little scraps. I made a little ball of the tiniest little bits that I had left over that weren't quite short enough to just sort of throw away as ends, but yeah, so I just love it, and just look at that. It's just wonderful. It's getting a bit big for this basket, because I've got all my sort of scraps and minis in there, so I have to sort of fold it. I think I need to purchase a bigger basket. So yeah, sorry about that. Basically my camera only records for 20 minutes and I just about sort of went over, so I'm sorry if the sort of jump is a little bit weird. Yeah, it's just a bit awkward because I sort of have to set a timer on my phone to do it. But then I was halfway through talking and I was just like, oh, I'm sure I can just quickly, and then it just cut off sort of part of it. So yes, that was the last sort of work in progress that I have this week. Peppermint tea is so good, so refreshing. But I just thought I'd show you. It's kind of dream knitting slash to be cast on. I participated in the Brown Bag Sock Club, I think that's what it's called. The Canadian knitter does a sock sort of knit along, and I won one of the months, and the prize was a pattern of your choice above a certain amount. Now I decided to choose the Changing Staircases by Kristen. Oh no. I'm pretty sure it is Kristen. Dragon Horde Yarn on Instagram, and the other half to the Girls in the Yarn Cafe. So the fantastic Sarah sent this pattern to me, and I wasn't sure what yarn to sort of use, but then I remember that I had a fabulous package from Diane, and she sent me this, and it's a West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's the owl colourway. Now the Changing Staircases is a Harry Potter inspired shawl, and I saw this and I just thought this would be fabulous. It would make the best Harry Potter shawl ever. And I know it's not sort of head big, but it just reminds me of Errol, which is the Weasleys' owl, which is a big barn owl that's a bit old and sort of frazzled, and every time he does a delivery I think this might be the last one, and I just thought this would be fabulous. So I think that is what is going to be next. So I just sort of housed it in this bag, and I've got my needles, and hopefully this will be cast on very soon, if not tonight. It just depends on how much time I've got. So yeah, that's a bit of sort of future knitting, and quite a few people have some Harry Potter knit-alongs going on, so hopefully I can get that in. I know Katie of Inside Number 23 has her year-long Harry Potter cal, which I will just look at the rules for. I'm not quite sure how it works, so hopefully I'll be able to enter that, so that's exciting. So I have some finished objects for this week. I have two. The first one is the hat, the sock head that I've been making for Dave, and you can see I striped in the lighter colour, and I did stripe in some blue, but it's not as noticeable. I've just got a weave in my ends, but I was just so happy to sort of get it finished for him. I think it's quite nice, and even though yes it is striping a little bit, I don't think it's too obvious that it was because I was running out of yarn. I don't know anyway, but he loves it, but with the weather it's not really been worn yet, so the ends have sort of been left. Yeah, again it's the sock head hat, but I just make it shorter for him. He doesn't like slouchy hats. And the second, well, the last finished object is one I finished literally last night, and they've also got something very exciting with them. So I finished my socks. They're still a little bit damp, so I just washed them last night, and they're blocking on my fabulous sock blockers, which were a wonderful gift from a viewer of the podcast. So thank you so much. Obviously messaged her and thanked her, but they are brilliant. I'm just going to take the socks off just to show you, just on one. And they are. So it has this, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it just has the designer on it. It just says handcrafted by J and Alma Squire, Eureka, Montana. And they are glorious. So yes, thank you so much. And these are the first pair that I have blocked. Oh, I have blocked on them. I can't wait for when we move, because I'm going to get 2 nails, and I'm going to hang them up on my wall when we move, because I'm hoping to have a craft room, or we're hoping to have a spare room which is going to be sort of a study, sort of office space. I'm going to have a little craft corner. So yes, finished socks and fancy sock blockers to show them. Just like, yay! I'm so excited. Thank you so much. So yeah, my fish lips kiss heel. I just used the leftover yarn from the socks I made for my now. So that's all the finished objects for this week, which is quite good too, not bad. I don't feel like I've done much crafting this week, which I know is quite silly, but I just thought as well, I actually did something a little bit different. So I'm just going to quickly grab it and show you. Apologies for that. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen it, but I picked up this, which is just an adult colouring book. But what I decided to do was do some watercolour painting, which I haven't done any kind of painting in so long. And so it's not the neatest, and the brushes I got on, I think I need thinner, like I got some that are quite thin and small, but so when I was working on them, they just kind of spread out. I need the ones that are really sort of fine. So yeah, I did this, and it was so much fun. And because I was going to pick up there was a Harry Potter one and a Tolkien one, but I just thought if I get this first, then I can practice, because it's got some, you know, some really good designs. And then it's like £3. So yeah, that was quite exciting. So yeah, that's all the crafty things for this week. Just some general chatter now. I don't feel like I've really done anything. I feel like I've just been at work, been at home. We went to the cinema on Wednesday and we watched Alien Convent, is that what it's called? I do enjoy the Alien films, but it's more Dave really loves them, so we went and watched that together. It was good. There was quite a few parts where I really jumped out of my seat. There were some pretty gruesome parts too, but it was enjoyable overall, and I think Michael Fassbender is amazing. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. and hopefully today we are going to go and watch Colossal, which is, it's like a Titan movie, but it's a bit of a comedy. I think it's Anne Hathaway, but that looks really fun. So Dave's just downstairs in the coffee shop, which is where I always kick him out to when I'm doing this, and I'm going to go and meet him. We're going to go and get some lunch, and then we'll probably go to the cinema. But yeah, when we move, I won't be kicking him out every time I record. It's just that our student accommodation is one room, so if I'm sat here recording, he would just be over there, and if he's on his computer or anything like that, he would have to kind of be deadly silent, else it would be quite annoying, because he has a gaming keyboard that is loud, and you know, he wouldn't really be able to do anything. He'd just have to kind of sit down, watch a video with his headphones in, kind of silent, because I don't want it to sort of annoy you or distract you, because I know that, you know, background noise constantly can be quite annoying. But yeah, so when we move, this is why we want the spare room, so that I can do this in there, and he has a, you know, a place for a study and things like that. So yeah, on that front, we are trying to organise some house viewings for this week. It's a bit of a bother because of it being a bank holiday today, so we can't arrange anything until tomorrow, and I'm working. So Dave's going to sit and call up lots of estate agents. We've got a couple of places we really want to see, so we should be moving really soon. He's got a job, he's just waiting to start, so everything is falling into place, which is really great. It's really lovely. So yes, there's that. I had a checkup at the hospital / dentist for post-surgery. They just like to sort of double check with everything. I had a meeting with the surgeon to see how everything is healed, because previously they said it's fine, but they still like to check. So it's been about 3 months now. Everything is great. Everything's still perfectly fine. Back there on Wednesday to have things tightened up. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Again, not anything else exciting really, just working. So I picked up a few extra shifts to try and get some money behind us for moving. So yeah, that's everything for this week, I'd say. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. And hopefully the next podcast won't feel so long ago. I think it's been just over a week, maybe coming up to 2 weeks. But I hope when we move and I've got my sort of timetable for work, I will have a set day that I can just record every week. That is the plan. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you roughly in a week's time. Bye!